Hey, we're making sort of a different kind of video here. Today, I thought it would be neat if we went through one of my old boxes, just unopened for a very long period of time. And this box is special because it has a bunch of my old PC games. Some of them they're the big PC boxes, you know, from like the 90s, pre-2000s. Anyhow, I'm gonna share those with you right now. So let's get right into it. Oh my gosh. This is gonna take me a minute to unpack, so got this old board from '97 signed by Tony Hawk himself. It's kind of hard to see. Man, this thing has been with me for so long. So it's like just beat up and oh, I wish I would have taken better care of it, but anyhow, we're almost there. I'm gonna set the camera up so we can get a better angle at this, alright? Let's dig into this, shall we? So much dust on top of this. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's a lot of just mixed stuff, but I'm gonna focus on the games for the most part. I've got a couple of burned discs here. This is Dragon Age 2, believe it or not. Yeah. I've got the original Unreal. I actually used to own these games, but I lost their boxes over time. They got kind of thrashed and the original media discs broke, so thankfully I was able to make some copies. Nothing fancy here though. Alright, this is a gem. We've got Starcraft. I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully the camera's focusing in. This is what our jewel cases used to look like back in the day. We open it up. Oh my gosh, look at that. So I've got the original disc in here for Starcraft, as well as the Brood Wars expansion here as a burned copy. Unfortunately, I know I've got the instruction manual somewhere. My box got thrashed. That was one of the other ones. But I know I've got the manual somewhere. Anyhow, got Guild Wars. This was a really good MMO. I think people still play it. This is a 2-disc setup here. Oh wait, here it is. Check that out. So that's kind of cool how creative these publishers got with their packaging. You open it up, you get some art here, and I don't care if you guys see this key. It's used already and it's worn out. But when you open this up, you get a nice little like splash piece of concept art. Cool. This is an old one, Spider-Man 3 for PC, and this is when, yeah, around this time, okay, 2007, PC DVD-ROMs media were getting so boring compared to that Guild Wars jewel case. Like, you got nothing. That game kind of sucked anyways. Here's a classic. We got Gears of War. I bought this new from GameStop. It still even has like the sticker on it here. This is dated back to 2007. Games for Windows, which was a terrible initiative for Microsoft. They were trying to make Windows like a gaming platform, and it wasn't that great. Got the original CDs. Oh my gosh. Actually, alright. So here's the Gears of War CD. Hidden in this box, I've got one of the original media discs for Fear. Disc 5 of 5. Rest in peace, Monolith. They recently got shut down, so unfortunate. Got instruction manual, 1 month games for Windows Live Gold for free here. This manual is actually kind of cool. The manual has like an art style to it. It was specially designed to fit the themes of the game. You've got some lore, weapons. These are all like really cool things to have for physical media. Control scheme setup here for keyboard and mouse. Though this game, it played well on controller. It was designed to be played on controller, considering that it was a console first game. That was an interesting era for PC gaming because consoles they were firing on all cylinders. They were doing so well, and that's where most of the gaming audience was. So a lot of games were developed for console first in mind, and PC would get subpar ports. Today, we still get some shoddy ports, but I think we get some better quality games in general. Unreal Tournament 2003. This box has seen better days. Let's see. Try and get this nice and close. It's got some cool art. You got this nice little like splash, unfoldable. You'd walk into your gaming store and you'd see this and you'd be like, oh my god, I want to play this game, right? And you got your discs. Disc 1, Disc 2, Disc 3, and a manual, which is kind of tiny. It's pretty neat though, You've got your typical installation stuff. You got your list of weapons, nice little descriptions for the weapons. Like when you're playing the game, especially this version of Unreal, it was all multiplayer. And the single player component was just against bots. So there wasn't really like a whole lot of story, but you got your hints of a story in the manuals usually, and that was always cool. Whenever you were taking a break from gaming, you would chill out, sit down, read the manual, and it's like you're immersing yourself in that experience. We got Bioshock. Cool stuff. Bought it at Best Buy for $49.99. Probably hard to tell on the camera, but it's got a bit of a holographic sheen to it. Yeah. This is a really cool splash here. Seeing the Big Daddy. Oh, that's cool. It's even got like little gameplay like taglines, if you will. Hack his own security system and turn it against him. Burn him up with homemade Molotov cocktails. Catch his grenades in midair and toss them back at him. These are all like action things that you can do in the game. No hidden discs in this one, just the Bioshock disc. Oh, look at that. So there's a PC Gamer disc in here. So PC Gamer used to put out magazines back in the day, right? This is dated 2007? Yeah. But you got a bunch of extras on here. PDF art book, musical score, a true widescreen patch. Around that time, widescreen was just sort of kicking off, like a 16:9 aspect ratio, like the standard monitor TV aspect ratios that you have today. That was fairly new around this time. So Mass Effect 3, I actually liked this game. This was a good game. A lot of people disliked it. The first was the best. Second one felt like like movie sequels. The second movie is always like more action-packed. To me, the second one felt that way. And then the third one, I think people were just unhappy with how the story unfolded and what happened to the characters. I thought it was good. Oh man. We've got Skyrim. Got this game at launch. I remember firing this up. Like everybody was playing this game. You look at your Steam friends list and the whole thing was just Skyrim. Everybody was playing it. This comes with a cool pack in. Oh, you know what? So I actually got the collector's edition of Skyrim. So I've got some additional stuff in here, such as a map. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of scared to open this up because it feels old. Like it might tear or crumble. province of Skyrim. I should put that in a picture frame. Got a lot of stuff I want to put in picture frames. Some old posters, things like that. This would be nice though. Got a manual, but this manual is fairly thin. Around that time though, games started heavily like tutorializing the first time player experience. Yeah, and this came with a bonus disc. Put that one away. I've got the dragon. Some of you probably who used to watch my streams, I used to keep it in the back of my setup, my room, and you can see the dragon in the back, as well as all my other collector's edition stuff. Age of Conan. So this was the MMO Conan game, like the first one, and it was sick. At launch, like, I really enjoyed this game. It was amazing for the first 20 levels, but then you could tell, like, it's like they made the first 20 levels really good in the game, like the first town, and it's just very fleshed out with quests and story. And then as the game progressed, it got a little sparse and required a lot of grinding, but the action combat was quite revolutionary for its time. Wow, this is a hefty manual. Oh my gosh, I've got the original receipt in here. When did I buy this? February 17th, 2009. $49.99 at Best Buy. All sorts of pack-ins here. I've got a guest pass, free 7-day guest pass. Advertising some of the books for Conan. Free in-game item. It's a ring. I think I remember using this actually. And we got a manual. This is a thick manual. I had a habit of carrying gaming manuals like in my backpack, and anytime I had some free time, I would just like bust it out and read it. This has a lot of actually cool stuff, like information on the gods, the different factions, and important people in the game, the towns, the cities, gameplay mechanics. Okay, we got Fallout 3. This was a good game. I'm not too big on Fallout. Got the original disc in here too. Fallout 3, I never finished. I did this with Skyrim as well, but like I did everything else except for the main quest. Some people would say that that's how you play those games. You just live in the world and do all of the world stuff. The main quest, you know, just gives you like if you need like that structure, you've got a main story that you can follow through to the end, which is fine, you know, like there's no wrong way to play video games really. This is actually a really nice quality manual. Like the pages feel really nice, they're glossy, the colors are nice. Cool stuff. Good job, Bethesda. Hey, Street Fighter 4 on disc. This was a solid game. I can't believe this is that old. 2008, 2009? Got all my original discs in there. Got a manual, an Alienware pack-in ad. This is pretty nice too. If you're playing on keyboard, you got some keyboard mappings. Yeah, controller. I bought a joystick to play this on. That's the way I love to play fighting games. I used to play in the arcades growing up, so I did play a lot on my Super NES, like using a controller, but I always felt more comfortable playing with a joystick. We're almost done with the small box games. I've only got a few more, and then we got some special stuff in large boxes. Not too many, but I think it'll be fun and exciting once we get to them. So next up we got Doom 3, a masterpiece of the art form. A quote from PC Gamer. This is a pretty nice box, even though it's small. You got some game graphics on the back. This was actually like revolutionary on its release. It had real-time shadows, real-time lighting. Bump mapping was a fairly new technology in games. That's when you can see like the bumps on skin and pores and little like details on walls that had like a bump to them. That's really simplifying what it is, but as a game artist, I can go really in depth with that. But the jewel case is nothing too fancy. We got the original discs in here. You get a little snippet of lore on the back here. Keyboard reference in case if you've never played with keyboard and mouse. And we got the manual, which looks pretty nice. You got some nice art from the game showcasing the monsters and the technology. The game engine was just ahead of its time, really. Not a whole lot in here. You got your weapons, explanation of the PDA in the game. Got some small bits of tips, lore, game modes. Yeah, nothing too fancy there. Here's the expansion pack for Doom 3, Resurrection of Evil, for $30. And cool, we got a nice little spread here on the inside of the box. Got some more stuff in the back. As you can see in the bottom corner here, they introduced Capture the Flag as one of the multiplayer modes, which was a big deal. Got a smaller jewel case, just one disc, you know. Another keyboard reference for the jewel case. Here's our manual. It's a nice quality manual, you know. You got the glossy pages, you got some nice color in it, showing you the new weapons. They brought the double-barreled shotgun into the expansion, and like I hardly use any other gun. I feel like that's a common thing in the Doom games. Once you have the double-barrel shotgun, that becomes your main. Look at this. They would reserve pages for notes in case, if you know, you needed to make some notes while playing. Yeah, this is 2005. We had the internet. You know, we had forums, websites, communities, and stuff that we were able to find all that information. Let's start with the big boxes, because I think we can go in chronological order here for one particular title that I am a huge fan of. My favorite game of all time. This is Quake. This was a 1996 release by id Software. I was playing a lot of Doom at the time, and I did not hear of Quake. You know, at the time I wasn't like that internet savvy. I wasn't on like the message boards and stuff. So one day my dad shows up with this game, and you know, he had a friend that was playing it and highly recommended it. And when we loaded it up, I was just blown away. Here's the original case for it. Not a jewel case, actually, it's like paper. As you can see, the art, I swear, like, so they collaborated with 9 Inch Nails to work on the soundtrack for the game. And this, whoops, this sort of sleeve artwork reminds me a lot of like a 9 Inch Nails music jewel case. That's Quake 2 burned down on a disc. I'll tell you a story about that later. Here's the manual that you got with the game. And you got the story in there. You know, it's like a quick one-page story. Goal of the game, episodes, tells you about secret doors and all that. Heads-up display. I was such a fan of this game that I read this manual back and forth like a religion book. I remember the first time loading up this game, hearing that opening track play on the demo. I couldn't believe it. And funny, they give you a Quake installation guide. It's like literally printed on a piece of paper. You had to install it on Windows 95, but you could also run it through DOS, which was actually helpful at times because you didn't want the bloat of Windows operating system hurting your performance, because this game was really hard to run. That's Quake. Man, 1996. That was a good year. So we're moving on to the next one in the series. We've got Quake 2. We did see the burned copy of this game in the jewel case, or the CD case for Quake 1, because I brought this game, Quake 2, to my high school one day in my backpack, and my backpack got stolen. I didn't tell anyone that I had it. I just set it down for a period of time, and then I think I went to the bathroom or something, and then I came back and it was gone. And it was like after school, there was hardly anyone around, so whoever picked it up, I even went into Lost and Found, and it was gone. So thankfully my friend had it, and he burned me a copy. But proof that I own the game, did not pirate it. This is a pretty nice box. Very different from Quake's, the original Quake. You know, we went from like a brown, dark motif. This had this like tealish green color. I don't know, I think of aliens, like because the Strogg are an alien race. Maybe they want to give that vibe, or maybe because they went more of a military-esque shooter with sci-fi vibes. This is all I got. Oops. Pack-in box. Help cushion the case, because the CD jewel case was stolen. That was a sad day. I was so upset. And this box has been through the ringer. Okay, let's move on. So next in the Quake series, we got Quake 3. I loved all of these games. This was kind of a departure though, because they went more like multiplayer. There was no single player component, unless if you consider fighting bots in a sort of multiplayer scenario. I'll say with each game, I feel like their presentation and their art style, just like they kept stepping it up, right? What was cool about Quake 3, it gave them a reason to bring in every character that they had created that they owned into one game. So you've got the Doom guy in there, right? You've got Ranger from Quake. All of the Quake 2 characters like Major, Sarge, Grunt, Bitterman. Quake 3 merch. Unfortunately, I did not own any at the time. We got the Quake 3 Arena jewel case. Nothing too special here, really. Just some of the art from the box with the description of the game on the back. No special manuals or anything, so that's something worth noting. Yeah, and there's no manual in the box either, so there wasn't much to teach, you know? You just fired up the game, and you ran around in arenas and shot your opponents. This was a 1999 release. Oh, you know, I forgot to mention, Quake 2 came out, I believe it was 98? No, 97. So a year after Quake 1, Quake 2 came out. That's pretty quick. Quick development time. We got Quake 3 Team Arena, which was the expansion for Quake 3. This came out in 2000, so 1 year later. Quake 3 was competing against Unreal Tournament. And Unreal Tournament was winning the multiplayer arena shooter competition, if you will. And what was odd about Quake 3 Arena is it didn't ship with really any team modes outside of like Team Deathmatch. So that's where Team Arena came in. And that's when they introduced Capture the Flag, a mode called Harvester, and a couple other modes too. They also introduced some new guns. They brought back the nail gun. They added a proximity launcher, which was like a sticky nade that would explode when enemies got close to it. They brought back the chain gun from Doom. Let's open this sucker up. It feels empty. And as you can see, there's not a whole lot in this. We got the original CD here. And actually, the jewel case feels pretty thick. The jewel case has some lore. Talking about the arena of the Vadrigar. Talks about some clans. Some brief summary of power-ups. This manual's kind of cheap. It's black and white. There's gloss on it, but it just doesn't feel as nice as the other ones. So after Quake 3, of course, came Quake 4. And that's when the boxes got smaller. This came out in 2005, and you know, the box is pretty nice. You got this nice like iridescence to it. Got some nice art in the back. Reminds me of the Doom packaging, which makes sense because it was published by Activision, same publishing house that released the Doom games for id Software, and it used the Doom 3 engine. This is just repeating stuff that's on the box fold out. We got all of our CDs in there for Quake 4. I don't think Raven Entertainment's around anymore. This was actually a really neat game. It was cool to see sort of the Quake 2 rendition brought back, modernized, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This is a very nice manual. Super glossy. Not a whole lot in it, just goes over the game modes, weapons, some basic lore. Alright, we got a few more boxes and then we're done here. This is Return to Castle Wolfenstein, released 2001, so this is probably one of the last like big boxes. Pretty cool stuff on the back. You got some in-game screenshots, some marketing blurbs, you know, things to get you excited to pick up the game. Jewel case here, not a whole lot outside of keyboard reference in the fold out there. This actually comes with a pretty thick manual. It's got a nice feel to it. It feels like a soldier's journal. It even looks like it too, which is pretty neat. Text that looks like it was typed up by like an SAS. I don't know what I'm talking about here. Some Secret Service department. Weapon descriptions. This all looks really neat. Even a multiplayer description. This game had really good multiplayer, especially when they introduced, gosh, what was it called? Enemy territory. Class-based type of multiplayer. It was pretty cool. Neat. Alright, so that's Wolfenstein. These are my last boxes here. Diablo 2 and Diablo 2's expansion, Lord of Destruction. Unfortunately, I did own Diablo 1. That was one of the boxes that I lost in one of my moves. I remember having the Thief game box as well. That was an interesting one because it was like a pyramid, diamond shape. Anyhow, Diablo 2. Wow, check that fold out. That's freaking cool. Like, you saw this on the shelf and you were like, oh my god, I need to get this game. And Blizzard really knew how to market their games. This was back in their early days, 2000. So in the box, look at this sucker, guys. This is what I'm talking about here. Now that's a manual. We got some product catalog stuff. Selling their other games like Warcraft. There's a poster. Check that Warcraft poster out. That's sick. I should frame that. Some other packing stuff. Not really gonna show those. Here's a quick page through of the manual. Blizzard's like, they've got all sorts of lore in their games, right? So they just put it all in the manual. A lot of stuff telling you what the game's about, how to play it, how to access multiplayer. Here we go. You got class descriptions, which are like a full page long with some cool concept art. Just awesome stuff, man. And the expansion for Diablo 2, Lord of Destruction. Actually, before I crack it open, show it off the box. There's some nice like bumping to it. It's iridescent and reflective. Got the back here, showing off the game. What's kind of cool is like, it looks like a tome. This could be the spine of a book. 2001. Got the jewel case, nothing too fancy here. CD, another thick ass manual, which is great. Got some cool art in there. A little passage here, inspired by the Wanderer. Playing the game, you got some more art showing off the assassin, which was a new class. I believe you had the druid, yep, the druid as well. Got some new enemy descriptors in here too. Monsters. And look, pages for notes. You know, if you wanted to write down some special notes about the game, maybe a build that you were creating. Cool. That is all that I have here to show. Well, that was quite a trip into the past there. I've got quite a mess now to clean up and put everything back. But hey, it was totally worth it. I had a good time doing this. I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you've got some stories you want to share, maybe you know you've got a collection of old PC games sitting somewhere, maybe share some of your favorite ones. Put them down in the comments below. I'd love to see what you've got to share there. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, subscribe for more great gaming content. You can check out this recommended video right here. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.